here? I guess how does it start? What do you all do at this point?
Well, we have to prioritize, of course, human life is the first thing that we were concerned with. And you have several different agencies out here between myself, Webster County Sheriff's Office. You had several different law enforcement agencies from Missouri State Highway Patrol, Rogersville Police Department, Seymour Police Department, Webster County Sheriff's Office, and then you had several different. We also had emergency management from Webster County. You had Logan Rogersville Fire Department. You also had Southern Webster Fire Department. All emergency channels came together to work together to try to get us help as fast as we could. Okay, when we EMS was here, of course, and they were took 3 to the hospital already. So that was our first priority, and that's what we've been concerned with.
And then going forward, any idea what the next step is?
Well, I think for each different entity up here, we all have different steps that we're working on. We all have our own different investigations that we're working with that look for different things in those investigations. Obviously, law enforcement, you would look for some type of criminal intent. I don't have any reason to think that there's anything like that. The private entity may be looking for, some type of liability in that way. We're all looking for different things, so it's hard to just speak clearly about that.
And at this point, any idea how this happened?
No, I couldn't tell you.
Andrea, what's MSU's involvement with this area?
Missouri State owns the tower. It's used for Ozarks Public Television and KSMU Public Radio.
Okay.
We were conducting some tower enforcement modifications to comply with some FCC changes to channels. It was a contracted project.
What company were you using and where are they from?
I don't know where they're from. The company is TCI. The contract is with TCI.
We're still trying to make notifications. I'd like you to save that until we've notified the decedent's family.
On the way out, noticed KSMU was still broadcasting. Was this the primary Springfield frequency, or?
I think they have another tower. I believe it's in Joplin. So I think probably redundancies.
Do you know how long MSU has owned this tower, or how long it's been up, or anything like that?
I don't.
Oh.
I think it's been up. I don't.
And this was kind of you said kind of a routine construction work that they were doing here. You said to kind of get in line with some new regulations. Is that right?
Yeah, there were some changes to FCC channels, and so we were reinforcing the tower and making some changes on the tower to comply with those FCC changes.
And it was today the first day that the workers had been here, or had they been here for a few days?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
They were replacing cross beams. If that helps you?
Oh,
There's support beams across that tower that they were trying to replace.
As far as the university, is this something that insurance is going to be able to replace?
I assume it will. I don't think we've gotten that far. The university is supporting the other workers who were here at the site who were injured, as well as those who weren't. Just providing any support they need. But we haven't gotten that far.
Right now, the main concern has simply been first aid and taking care of the people that we could. We had the delay because we needed to confirm the power was turned off. So that's been the main time delay, has been just trying to make sure that it was safe to actually follow up on some things. Guys have any further questions?
The investigation, you expect it to take some time?
Everybody has a different stuff they're looking into, so obviously it would take a little bit of time.
Right?
I would think so.
When will it be determined how it happened?
I don't know.
I imagine they'll have to get some structural engineers out here to look at that.
there's limited number of tower crews nationwide, partly because, as evidence here, it's a very dangerous undertaking. I don't know where I was going.
Well, could you speak to that, just to the nature of the type of work?
Anytime you're up high working like that, you got some risk associated with that. And I would say, these are specially trained crews that, do this work around the country. And so I'm sure, they would take the necessary precautions to do their job. But, let's call it as an accident's an accident. And, things do happen. So I'm sure as the investigation unfolds, whether it's through the sheriff's office, a private investigation, all that stuff will hopefully come out in the investigation.
I understand the tower was 1980 or 1,980 feet tall. I understand.
Can you guys just elaborate on just the abnormality of such an accident?
As I said earlier, I've been doing this business for 25 years. I've never seen anything like this. I know Sheriff Cole's been around for a while, and so we see a lot of different stuff every day. This is probably one of the most significant events I've been to in 25 years of service. But we're dealing with the loss of life here, so let's just get back to that point. Someone did lose their life here today, and whether it's a single car accident or a tower collapse or a building collapse, someone did lose a life. So.
And it's probably too early to say, but what kind of changes will need to take place moving forward to ensure something like this doesn't happen again?
It's not for me to answer. It's hard to address the need when you don't know the cause yet. So that would be too early to speculate something like that.
And just to make sure we have it down straight, so the deceased person was on the ground at the time, and then there was 5 people in the tower at the time that it collapsed. Is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate. The person who passed away was in the tower.
Okay. And so there were 6 people in the tower when it collapsed. 1 person deceased, and then the 5 others that survived.
Yep.
Okay.
So the person was on the tower.
That's correct.
Okay.
I believe they all were when it started.
That's it for me. Anybody else?
Well, as far as the investigation to determine what happened, when do the survivors, have they already been interviewed, or does a special engineering type specialist need to be the person to kind of interview them to get a feel for what was going on?
I think each entity involved will speak with the survivors to try to gain the information that they need to draw their proper conclusions for their own investigations. You've kind of referred to being the investigation. There's multiple, so it's just you're dealing with multiple jurisdictions, from federal, state to private even. So I mean, everybody's involved for a slightly different piece of the same puzzle.
If there's no more questions, I believe we're going to let the operations people take us on a tour. Is that right, Chief Sertz?
All right. Top left right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys, I know you guys want to get shots. This is my